My name is Hollis and I was born December 24th, 1927.
So you were a Christmas baby.
Yep.
Were you born...
Hell of a present.
were you born here in Vanceboro, or were you...
In Vanceboro, yeah.
Okay. At home, or was there a... Was it at home, or was there a hospital?
At home. No hospital. Nobody ever went to the hospital then.
Mm-hmm.
The house is still standing on, but there's nobody living in it.
Where's the house?
What?
Where's the house where you were born?
Well, it's down the other end of town and on Holbrook Street.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to these interviews.
You're doing great. You're doing great. What did your parents do for work?
My father worked for the railroad. My mother was a housewife. She had 6 kids, so she didn't have much time to work anywhere else.
6 kids. Where were you in the group?
I was the youngest.
Okay.
My youngest brother next to me, he's 7 years older than me. They called him Babe because they thought he was the last one, I guess. But and that name stuck with him all his life.
Mm-hmm. So were they all brothers?
I had 4 brothers, and all 5 of us were in the service in World War II.
Wow. What was Vanceboro like when you were a kid?
It was busy. The railroad was busy. There was a train left the station about every 25 minutes, they figure. And in the wintertime, the Canadian troop trains all come through here because the seaway froze up and they couldn't travel down through there, but wheat trains. And there used to be a lot of refugee trains from England. They used to sending their kids and their women over here to Canada to the relatives to get away from the bombing. It was a busy town. There was, a lot going on.
Were there a lot of other kids your age? A lot of kids your age?
A lot of kids. Well, every family had 4, 5, or 6 kids. But no television then.
And there must have been a school in town with that many kids.
What?
Was there a school?
Oh yeah, well, there's a big school right over here where the fire station is now. That tear it down, but big 2-story building, a nice building.
What did your father do on the railroads?
He was a cashier and clerk there at the freight office.
Okay. Doing all freight or passengers too? Freight trains or passengers too?
Both, yeah.
Okay.
Lots of freight trains. Well, everything come through here. In the wintertime, nothing come through the seaway, and it all had to come down by rail. And they had 50 troops stationed here in World War II to guard that bridge and these little bridges down the line, so they couldn't they tried to blow that bridge up in World War I, the Germans, and so they had guards on it. World War II, they had 50 troops stationed right here in Vanceboro.
Okay. And was it easy to cross the border at that time?
Oh, hell yeah. No, they did that. Well, everybody knew everybody else practically. No problem.
So you could just walk right across and...
Walk right across. And if we happened to be down closer to the railroad bridge, we'd walk across there. And the customs would, they'd never know it. They'd come over in the midnight shift. If you were late in the midnight shift, you woke the customs officer up and he'd be mad at you. Keep right on going,
So what things would you go across the border for? Were there stores over there?
Stores
friends?
And everybody, girlfriends and half the people around over here and over there married back and forth across the border. My wife come from Canada. And we were married for 71 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. How did you meet?
One of a kind, I guess.
How did you meet her?
I met her at one of her friends' houses over there in McAdam, and I met her before I went in the Navy, and I said, by God, I'm going to look her up when I come back. But she had 3 sisters, and one of them married a fellow from here, and he was up in the Navy. And there's a lot of things you could buy over there a lot cheaper than you could here, and they come over here for things, and it was a busy place.
Were there different schools, or did all the kids go to the same school?
There was a school right up to completely everything, right up to graduation, seniors and all. They didn't go out to school anywhere.
Okay.
That was sometime in the probably in the 70s. Dates I can't remember good, but it was back along in the late 60s or 70s. They started going to Lee Academy.
Okay. So, did the Canadian students go to the school in Vanceboro, or was there a school across the border too?
No, they had their own schools there in McAdam. And
okay.
St. Croix was a busy little town right across the border too, because they had, there was a lot more people there than there is now. And McAdam's the same. McAdam employed, I think it was around 750 men worked for the railroad in McAdam. Now there's just very few.
So how many people were there in Vanceboro when you were a kid?
Right now?
When you were young?
Probably close to 900.
Mm-hmm. Now
there's less than 100.
Wow. And there's no there's still railroad tracks, but it's just the train tracks through town now.
There's one train a day goes through each way.
Okay.
And sometimes they run an extra, but Urban Oil owns the railroad here now.
Okay.
And they seal the cars in McAdam, and customs check the seal here, and they check it in Jackman or somewhere on the way out again into Canada.
So every train that comes across the border has to stop it here?
They'll stop here, and they stop here going out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, since there was no TV, what did you do for fun as a kid? What did you do for fun as a kid?
Oh, raise hell most of the time. They had, the school, they had basketball teams and things, baseball and that part of it. And they had school dances, like, things that going on, and kept busy.
Mm-hmm.
Then television, before television, you had to make your own time.
Did you spend much time in the woods?
Not a lot, but I used to do some hunting, and I maybe shot 2 deer in my lifetime. I had 2 chicken-hearted to shoot. Most of them I'd look at them and put the gun down and chase them away. But the river, with kids are swimming, and then the river and the lake is good. Nice clean water in both of them. And
did you get into any trouble around the railroad as a kid?
No, everybody pretty much chummed around with each other, Once in a while you'd have a little fight with somebody, but the next day you're out chumming around with them again, so.
Who were your friends in those days? Who were your friends in those days?
Well, I had quite a few boys and girls who were friends. Gary Nason was one of them, and he was about my age. He went in the Navy, and there was Getcombe boy, and there was the girls, McPhee girls, and you know everybody in town.
Mm-hmm.
So you came back to Vanceboro. Did your brothers also come back after the
They
war?
all came back, yeah, and one of them went back to Massachusetts. I had an aunt that lived there. He went over there. He stayed there, but the other three all stayed here and worked for the railroad. There was probably 80 railroad jobs or so here in Vanceboro at that time. Now there's none.
And are any of them still living in Vanceboro today?
You what?
Are any of them still in Vanceboro
They've all
today?
passed away,
All
all
passed.
of them. And my sister passed away.
How old was your sister? Was she older
She
or
was the
younger?
oldest.
Okay. Yeah. And so what was it like coming back to Vanceboro after the war?
It hadn't changed a hell of a lot. It was, everybody was friendly with each other, and right now, if anybody, I have 2 or 3 people that check, but pretty near every day or every other day, you call me to make sure I'm doing all right. My nephew, one of them lives in Brewer. He was head of the warden service here for Maine when he retired. They call me every other day to check, and I said, so I'm pretty well looked after. I got three boys, and they all take good care of me.
So after the war, you came back and you finished high school. You finished high school after the war,
Yeah.
and then you looked up that girl in McAdam.
Yeah. Well,
Your wife.
no, well, I was going with my wife while I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was older, a couple of years older than her, but you know, it seemed funny. I was in school and she graduated. Of course, they only had 11 grades over there then. Now they've got up to 12.
So how long was it before you asked her to marry you? How long before you asked her to marry you?
Oh, a couple of years, so.
And did you get married here in Vanceboro?
St. Stephen's, the minister in St. Stephen's married us.
Did you have a honeymoon? A honeymoon?
Yeah, we went to Boston.
Okay. Was that a good time?
Somebody coming, a Danny or who it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the car went by, I guess. There used to be tanneries and things around in Vanceboro, you know, that little businesses that they had. And now there's nothing. There was probably 4 or 5 stores in town. Now there's one down by the railroad track, the customs house. Mm-hmm. And they don't keep anything for groceries, nothing perishable. And I went in that store in '52, and we still own it. All you got in now is hardware. Mm-hmm. Because there isn't enough business of perishables in town. And anybody who wants anything like that, they got to go clear to Callis. Same with the drugstores. 60 miles for a drugstore.
And so what did you do between when you got back from World War II and when you went to Korea?
I was working for the fellow that owned the store that I ended up, he taught me in the mine, and I don't know how. I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't go into store business again because you're tied down on everything. Mm. But he told me, he said, when I got called back, he told me, he said, when you get out, he said, your job's waiting for you. So he said, take a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever you want, and then come back to work. And so I did that after I was there a month or so. He said, why don't you buy me out? And I said, how the hell would I buy you with being over the Navy? I haven't gotten the... So he called up from the GI loan from the bank, and they were pretty fussy about looking to the buildings over and everything. So finally he told her to pack up your stuff and take it back to Callis, and he said, I'll take care of the financing myself. So I've been there well, I haven't been there for 8 or 10 years. I've been pretty well retired, but other than that, but we still own it. And Danny, my son, he has it now, but he isn't open all the time. He's open 3 or 4 hours a day, and anybody needs hardware or something, anything, if they wanted it, and he's not open, they come to the house and he goes down and gets it for them.
So what's the name of the store?
Hollis General Store. And they spelled Holly Holly. That's the way girls spell it. But I was born on Christmas Eve, and that stuck with me ever since. Most of the men are named Holly. It's Hollie, but now that it don't bother me a bit because I know. He was fuzzy. That's all anybody around here ever. Everybody had nicknames practically. Some of them you wouldn't dare to call it to them with a face, but everybody had their nicknames.
Did you have a nickname?
No, the most they got to mind was the Holly. It was, instead of Hollis. And some people, if you asked them about Hollis beer, they wouldn't know who the hell you're talking about. And my babe, the other brother, the youngest one next to me, was 7 years older than I said. They called him Babe. Well, I guess they figured, like I said before, he was going to be the last one, but he wasn't. But the name stuck with him. You call him, you say Murray Beers, they say, who the hell is Murray Beers?
So you had brothers Babe and Fuzzy and who?
George. Well, Cecil was the older. Cecil and Raymond. Cecil and George, Raymond and Murray. And then I come along 7 years later. I weighed less than 3 pounds. I have them at the Historical Society's got pictures of the old store. They got pictures of the old railroad bridge and everything. And if you're not in a hurry to go, Danny would probably go up. I think he's got a key to that. They got them all them pictures up there, and pictures of the schoolhouse. And
okay.
Yeah. Fun. Looks like you covered pretty much everything except maybe the second to the last.
Danny, have you got a key to the Historical Society? Yeah, I know that, but I figured you don't have a key to get in? Who would have it? I was wondering if he'd get one, he'd go up and get us look at some of those pictures up there. This is what's today? Wednesday. You're not open all day Wednesday. And I wondered if he'd go up and get him some pictures, like a picture of the old bridge and that stuff. Get a key from them. And yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. He said in about 10 minutes he'll go get a key to that and go up, because they got pictures up there of the old bridge that they tried to blow up, and the school over here, and a lot of the old things.
Mm-hmm.
The old railroad stations. And
so, you've lived a long time. What's your secret?
being a grumpy old man, I guess. I don't know. Nothing special. I guess I probably, when I grew up, my father had a milk cow and he raised chickens. We had plenty to eat and everything. And I never was rich and I never was poor. But my mother took good care of all of us when we got up to go to school in the morning. In the weather like this, there was a big bowl of oatmeal and toast and stuff there, and you know. Nobody ever left her house hungry. If anybody, if she thought needed anything to eat, they was fed. Hobos coming through town, they'd stop at houses. They never let them in. But they'd make a sandwich and stuff. She'd always make a sandwich or something and give it to them outside, and away they'd go. My mother was born in Quebec, a little town, Scottstown, outside of Mechanic. And then they moved to Mechanic, and she and her sister from down here worked in the railroad station in McAdam. They had a big lunch counter and a hotel with up rooms and everything, and they worked there, and you know, they were brought up not to give to people if they had something that they really needed, and to help them out. So my father was a judge. He was a trial justice for 42 years. Used to hold court right in the kitchen.